Namaste, angels. This is the weekly general reading for the period of today, Sunday the 24th through Saturday to come the 30th. We're starting with the dice, and yes, weekend away and eat cake. Happy birthday to all the Scorpios out there that may be celebrating, and congratulations on any other things. Like a girlfriend of mine got married yesterday. She always said she would. It's funny, like, you know, she had been married twice before and divorced, but you know, she is like the marrying kind, like she believes in that. And she said that, you know, she would definitely get married again, and sort of met this guy, dated him, didn't work out, broke up, reconnected. At that time, she and I were speaking more often because she lives in South Carolina, and you know, so we don't talk that much. See each other on Facebook, like more like Facebook friends. But I have visited and met her in person. Anyway, we had this conversation, and she was telling me about this guy and their relationship and how they were trying, but it just never seemed to work back out. And you know, I had never talked to her about what I do here and the twin flame thing and all that kind of stuff. But right away, I was like, "Yep, I completely understand what's happening," because you know, this is, you know, I didn't tell her, but in my head, I was like, I completely know what's happening because this is a twin flame relationship. Sure enough, fast forward, probably like 5 years, they got married yesterday. So anybody else to you out there getting engaged, getting married, congratulations on those things too. You know, I always associate celebrations and things with eat cake. Also, one of my daughter's friends that I used to drive home from the PTA meetings, all that kind of stuff, when I was the PTA president at their high school, I'd have all the kids come to the meeting too. They loved it. And be really involved in the decisions that were being made at their school and about them. I didn't think it was right for, you know, other people who weren't going to be directly impacted as students to make all the decisions without the input of the kids. So I would have all the kids come. Anyway, I would drive them all home too, you know, make sure they got home, even if they lived in, you know, one lived on this side of New York, one lived on that side of New York, I'd drive them all home. And this was one of the girls. She had twins before, and she just had her third baby this weekend. So that would be another reason to eat cake and celebrate and stuff like that. I see the 29 looking at me, so it's not our die's outcome, but I am going to mention 29, all about spiritual partnership. And what we did end up with is spend money. Try again. That could be any number of things. I'm going to try again too. And the dice says no. And lastly, sex. The cards we're starting with. The Four of Swords in reverse. The Sun from my energy deck. Followed by Door to Personal Healing and Happiness right behind the Sun, also upright. The next card is Archangel Michael, the third chakra, but he's in reverse. And the Three of Swords from the Angel and Animal Tarots, with the Nine of Swords being immediately behind it, but in reverse. Sadness is part of life, but you don't have to endure it alone. You may need a little time to heal, but once you work your way through the emotions, you'll be stronger than before. I think that this week's Three of Swords, I mean, I never like starting with the Three of Swords. It is what it is, though. We are starting with it, you know, because I'm honest about how the cards turn up when I shuffle them before I start the reading. And this is how it started out. But I don't think it's so much about sadness this week, or even, you know, something having to do with relationships like separation or breakup, and, or, you know, struggles and things like that. I think this week it's more having to do with health. Could be mental health, like being mentally exhausted, or even emotional health, I guess. Emotionally exhausted. But I'm getting exhausted. I'm getting tired. I'm getting in need of rest. But that there is improvement coming from that. And I don't know if you guys noticed all the threes and the fours, but I did. You know, I'm a numbers weirdo. This 3 plus this 1 equals healing, right? The door to healing and happiness comes from the 3 and the 4. Here we've got a 3 and a 1 equals 4. And then we've got a 4 of swords. A 3 and a 1 equals 4. And then even look at the colors. The 3 of swords here is with this blue background, bluish, purplish, grayish background, like the 3 of swords. And the 1 sword by itself is by this, you know, has this like golden, sunny background. So I really think the card is speaking in terms of the 3 of swords and the need for rest or healing and getting better, recovery. Plus the sun, what lies ahead of you, this new beginning, this happy start, equals, yeah, rest and recovery. You're getting better, and the door to personal healing and happiness. And behind the 4 of swords, the next card is the 8 of cups. So moving on from whatever it was that had you down, and possibly out. Could be physical health as well. Maybe something involving a fever or the need for radiation, like chemo and cancer. Fever could be, yeah, it could even be COVID, right? Something involving like an MRI or an X-ray. But in any case, you're better. Sonogram, maybe it has to do with pregnancy. Maybe it was a long road, person is tired, but recently had or will soon have, maybe this week, the baby, perhaps specifically a son, a male child, by C-section maybe, with all of these knives showing up, swords. Anyway, that's what we got. Let's see what we're going to end up with after I do some shuffling. So first opening to the 6 of Cups. Upright, which could have to do with children, soulmates, people, places, and things from our past that are sort of revisiting us now in our present. Twin flame, again, soulmate energy, partnerships. The 2 of Wands is the twin flame card of the tarot. Maybe involving an earth sign. Here's another 9 of Swords. Somebody's nervous, anxious, in need of rest, recovery. Earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Or perhaps a Leo and strength. Maybe it's a Leo, Virgo. That makes up one part, at least, of this partnership or twin flame relationship. As a matter of fact, in the case of my friend, that is true. The guy she just married is a Leo. She's a Gemini like me. I therefore don't know how she did it, because I could never, I don't think, with a Leo. Anyway, our overall energy is the 6 of Pentacles and the Hierophant. Contracts. This is oh my God. Do you see this? This is some serious positive energy. Could definitely be partnership energy. So we got 6 of Pentacles, all about equity, reciprocity, balance in relationships, you know, healthy, balanced relationships, the give and take, the ability to both give and receive from one another, open communication. Wow. Followed by the Hierophant, which can be a marriage card. It's a card of higher institutions, contracts, you know, making things official, tradition. It can be a very spiritual card too. Justice can also be about, you know, legal matters and contracts and things, and balance, certainly. I should have said that first, actually. And, you know, maybe marriage too. The King of Cups showing up here. A possible Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. The King of Romance and Generosity. The Magician, Gemini energy, Mercury energy. the ability to do any and everything you need, you know, and to manifest any and everything you need. This is happiness. This is feeling surrounded by love. And perhaps having been patient for it and allowing it to grow. But now it's all here. Wow. The next card's in reverse. It's the Ace of Cups. Wow. Okay. Followed by the Two of Cups. So somebody's relationship is really kicking up or will really kick up. Wheel of Fortune. Eight of Wands. This is communication. Maybe there had been separation or something. Communication. This is movement where things weren't moving before. If something was stuck, didn't seem like anything was happening. Even if you can't see it right now, you know, like the person maybe on the other side of the world, putting pen to paper, writing you a love letter right now. You have no idea. So you have no idea that the movement has begun. But, you know, because this can signify that the movement is behind the scenes. But it is happening. Very, very exciting energy from that deck. Let's shuffle this one. Opening first to Jesus, although he is in reverse. The healer of the ages is what he's called here. Cornucopia, also in reverse. The thinking man, he too is in reverse. And the man holding a heart is in reverse as well. I think I'll stop on him. Appreciation is our overall energy, followed by contract. So more of this like balance, Libra. Again, 6 can be about equity, reciprocity. You know, we're in this together kind of energy, give and take. And there's an appreciation for that. This is not taking that kind of thing for granted. These are both 6s also. 15 equals 6. 6, of course, is 6. We looked at the Three of Swords before. We kind of looked at the Nine of Swords too. I did this during the moon reading. I just did it again. Had the Nine of Swords there. Opened the deck to just stick it in arbitrarily and randomly. Opened it to another Nine of Swords. So, as I said in that reading, I wasn't feeling something, you know, like negativity really about the Nines of Swords. I was just saying somebody feels, or maybe a bunch of us feel or will feel during this period because of the effects of the moon, like restless, impatient. So it's not necessarily a negative thing in terms of feeling anxious, just like, you know, not wanting to sit around and wait for things to happen, you know, to us or for us, like going out and getting them ourselves. And it was an Aries full moon. So, you know, Aries is ruled by Mars, the planet of action and aggression. So it is about heart, or can be at least, about like hot pursuit and not wanting to just like sit around and wait, but rather going after, going and getting things on our own. I can't make this up. And I don't know. Did you see, like, I was just moved that last pack to put half of it in the middle and put half of it at the bottom of the deck. And sure enough, we ended up with the Nine of Swords at the bottom of the deck. But, you know, after I had showed you where they were both in the middle there. So it is what it is. This is the energy with which we were supposed to end up. And the other one is still right behind it. Nine of Swords followed by Nine of Swords is our overall energy there. So we're going to start the reading with these. Yes, I have a habit of saying start the reading, even though I've already been talking about cards and energies and all of that. So yes, technically we have started already. But now I'm going to start to use these and pull a card like I do for the past few months now, at least, every week. One first that will represent us all. So this is like the card that will be most directly representative of the energy of the collective this week. And it's the Three of Cups in reverse. and surrounding energies, representative of our surrounding energy, including our close friends, family members, co-workers, things going on down at the job, all that kind of stuff surrounding us. 9 of Pentacles upright. Work and finance, Judgment upright. Love and relationship, Temperance upright. Physical health, the Emperor upright. And spiritual health, Death in reverse. 4 major arcana cards in a little 6 card, 7 card spread. And what's really interesting and standing out to me already is not just all the Scorpio energy that may be generated by the cups that are here in the 3 of Cups, certainly Judgment, maybe even Temperance and the Water Bearer, although that's most directly Sagittarius card in the tarot, and for me Aquarius. But looking at the cups and the water and the crown, I am kind of getting more of that King of Cups and 2 of Cups. And then we have the Emperor, which represents the planet Mars, one of Scorpio's rulers, like the esoteric ruler of Scorpio, which enters Scorpio this week. We'll talk about that after I do the cards. And then we have Death. So it's like Scorpio, really, really strong and most directly representing our work and financial health, maybe, our physical health, and our spiritual health. And Scorpio actually rules health in the zodiac. So very, very interesting. Let's get into what else is going on, beginning with our overall energy of the 6 of Pentacles. So this card can be about generosity, to sum it up. And it's possible that this week you will be either the recipient, like or beneficiary, even if it's something more official, which I think I'm getting that possibly from the 9 of Pentacles in our surrounding energy, as well as this here, our energy of the 6 of Pentacles, and you know the balance, the scales of either balance or could be justice. And then we have, again, the Hierophant. We had Major Arcana card Justice right behind the Hierophant. So all of those things are giving me that it can even be something more official, and we could be inheriting something, or I don't know, it's the results of some sort of contract or something official that we're coming into some sort of abundance, or yeah, it doesn't have to necessarily be money, but something of value, something that we could need. The 6 of Pentacles is one of my favorite cards, actually, because it represents like this sort of right on time assistance, you know, that can really come across like very divinely given, like as if from an earth angel or an angel, period. All of a sudden we get the help we need. So there's that. Also, if you are the beneficiary, then you should take any opportunities that come up for you to be the giver too. Like if you are blessed and you are presented with an opportunity to also be a blessing, be it, because this is how we continue with the flow, that healthy flow that goes around. Definitely don't be too proud. You know, the Mars and Aries, pride actually came up quite a bit in the moon reading too. I took it to moon something else in that reading. Very, you know, representative of like family, as in like a pride of lions or something. But I'm getting it's coming back to me now. The pride from that reading. It's going to be important for us to not be too proud to accept whatever help it is that's being offered, if we're, you know, the intended recipient. So that is our 6 of Pentacles. Moving on to the card that most directly represents the collective this week, and keeping in mind everything I just said about the 6 of Pentacles. 3 of Cups in reverse. So this is still a very positive card, even though it's in reverse. You know, some people think that when a card is in reverse, it means that it sucks, it's horrible. Not true. Bogus tarot reading there. When you see that, it can, well, this card, believe it or not, it can be about you. There will be at least one positive reunion for you this week. Not necessarily with a person, with someone or something from which you have been apart, you've been separated from for some time. Okay, and that can be also, when this card shows up, just a sense around us of feeling particularly supported by our friends and family. And again, considering the surrounding energy of the Nine of Pentacles, which is, you know, an energy representative of the people surrounding us, or the energy surrounding us being able to support us and to help us. I definitely think, again, it's working in tandem with the Six of Pentacles, and that could be from whom, some surrounding energy could be from whom or from where we are, you know, receiving assistance that's coming into us. If you, you know, are presented with an opportunity to stay in touch with people or not, then you should choose to stay in touch with people, you know, to go ahead and connect to whatever extent you're able to connect, especially people that you have not, that you've been apart from for a long time. You know, don't miss the opportunity to connect with them. So moving on to that surrounding energy, again, the Nine of Pentacles points to happiness and success, you know, in sort of like all the areas, aspects, and it means that we have a lot to be proud of. So I'm using that word pride again, or, you know, a derivative of the word pride. In this case, it's a more positive, yes, be proud of your success. Be proud of your accomplishments. Or people surrounding you may find themselves in a position this week where they have a lot to be proud of. And they can be proud of the fact that they help you and support you if again, that's what it turns out to be. They're offering you some sort of support, which is different from the fact that you should not be too proud to accept it. So with us, with the, you know, the collective, I'm talking about be careful of ego. And with this one, I'm saying, yes, you know, there is balance between ego and confidence and, you know, acknowledgement of our own accomplishments and things, which is healthy and fine. I think that's all I want to say about that for now, at least. Let's go on to Judgment, Major Arcana card Judgment, which is another 2 as card number 20. It can be also looked at as a 2. So maybe it is, you know, something having to do with partnerships. That's possibly. In general, it can be about like jumping to conclusions, you know, a warning that if we're doing this, we should definitely cut it out. If others are making these kind of decisions and, you know, about us, coming to some sort of conclusion without giving us a chance, without looking into something, and either about us or about someone or something that we care about, obviously there's not much that we can do about what other people feel, apart from not allowing them to project that onto us and to affect the way that we feel about ourselves or we feel about the people that we care about, you know, especially not without facts and stuff. In terms specifically of work and finance or work, it can mean that somebody's watching us. That's not necessarily negative. Our efforts are being watched, and it's an important time to put in that, you know, extra maybe effort and attention to detail not even if we're looking for something. I was going to say if we're looking for a promotion or whatever, but not even. Just in general. This is a good time because somebody's watching you. You know what I just thought about? The person that got shot on the set of Alec Baldwin's movie. That person did not put in the, not the victim. The person responsible for the prop gun, there's not really any such thing as a prop gun because they use real guns. They just put blanks in them. Didn't take the proper care. And I just saw something on the news a little while ago that they were saying there may be, you know, a couple of people that didn't take the proper care that should have checked into this, and that a crew member had even walked off the set like right before this happened because they were upset that people weren't taking the proper care. So it's that kind of thing. Like, people are watching. In this case, the country, the world is watching. This is a viral situation. But in your case, obviously, it'll be more local to you, or at least we hope. And you don't end up on the news or anything. But people are watching, and so it's very important to pay attention to detail this week. The news about you is likely to be good, actually. If you've been trying hard, doing your best, your efforts are likely to pay off. Judgment is also one of my favorite cards. It is about abundance that's earned, the way that I read the energy. It can also have something to do with second chances, second time around. So it might be tied to the try again die. And, you know, if you get an opportunity to do something over, do it. Right your wrong. If you've been slacking off, on the other hand, then it's time to get with the program before any permanent damage is done to your, you know, job, or work, or career. And that can go for people who are unemployed and looking for work too. You know, if you've been slacking off from putting out the applications, or doing your best about, you know, making sure your resume is as good as it could be, and, you know, you are dressed properly for your interviews, as to the extent that you know, can be, and all those things, that extra effort. If you haven't been doing it, or you used to do it and then you started slacking off, maybe you got, you know, discouraged because you weren't being hired, or whatever the case was, this is the week to get back on the game, you know. In terms of finances specifically, money and contracts will be headed your way right now. And this should be a very important, you know, positive upswing in your finances, or lead to. Do not be careful about, like, trying to cut corners and do things that may possibly be illegal right now. Even in terms of other stuff that you may not really think of so seriously. A lot of the time, you know, myself included, I'm talking about in terms of being a human, you know, like speeding, or I don't know. You know, I'm talking about even stuff like this judgment can be about, like, a ticket, a fine for something. And of course, speeding is something that could lead to not only a ticket and a fine, but your insurance rates going up, maybe the loss of your license, all that kind of stuff. So, you know, you guys get the idea of what I'm trying to say. It's not specific to cars and driving, but that was all that popped into my head. But be careful with, you know, in general, with, like, cutting corners, violating the law, and doing things that could lead to something like that. You having to pay some sort of restitution. But other than that, this card is positive. Again, it's about abundance that's earned, and our finances should be on the up. Moving on to love and relationship and temperance. This is a card that's mostly about balance. It is most directly representative of the energy of Sagittarius and the planet Jupiter. But for me, also, because there's a water bearer on the card, also tends to represent the signs of Aquarius. And for me and in my readings. So an Aquarius or Sagittarius may be particularly significant to us. For me as a Gemini, I know Sagittarius rules is my mirror sign first, you know, for one thing, but also rules my 7th house of, you know, one-on-one relationships. So that could be what the meaning is for me and other Geminis. And for you, maybe it's because you are a Sagittarius and someone significant to you is an Aquarius. You know, you apply it to yourself if it applies. In terms of the card in general and the placement of love, it can be a lot about not, like, entering a relationship or even worrying about having one until we feel like we've done that inner work and we're in this place of, you know, inner peace, inner happiness, inner love that will afford us the ability to, you know, share all of those things with another party, you know, share love with them. It can sometimes ask that we look within and do, like, a self-assessment and look at things that maybe we feel guilty about or mistakes we've made in our past, and make sure we've forgiven ourselves for those things and let them go. Because that's going to be the only way that we can make progress moving forward, either in a relationship that we're currently in already, or in, in finding one and developing a relationship if we're single. But it also has to do with, again, balance for me and give and take. You see the water being poured from vessel to vessel. It's like filling each other up, filling each other's cups in a relationship. Neither party should, ever feel that their glass is, empty or even half empty. Both should always be half full at least, and you continue to share and be generous with each other, giving it back and forth. Moving on to physical health and the Emperor. So the Emperor represents the planet Mars again, ruler of the signs of Aries, where the full moon was not too long ago, last week. So we're still in, being surrounded by that energy too at large. Also ruler of the sign of Scorpio, where the sun just entered. So now the sun is in Scorpio. Mars enters Scorpio this week. And something else was going to be in Scorpio very, very soon. The new moon, of course, but that's in like a week or two. I don't know what else I was thinking about. Anyway, the Emperor is representative of like this authority. And for me, like government agencies, large corporations, contracts, father figures. And in this placement of health, it's not different. It's about order and discipline. And you sort of taking authority and responsibility for your health. If you're struggling with a health issue, like maybe writing down the symptoms, tracking your symptoms, and seeing if anything, like directly correlates to it. Like maybe there's something that you need to eliminate from your diet or add to your diet, or some, exercise that you need to decrease because it's causing you harm rather than good, or some exercise you need to increase because you need, support in that area, or a doctor you need to see, or whatever. It's really about, taking things into account, getting organized, getting disciplined about your health, your body, taking care of yourself, and believing that, we have a right to good health, and we need to, take the necessary steps in order, right? By order to achieve it and maintain it. And last but not least, in the position of spiritual health, we have death in reverse. And anytime this card appears, like in any placement or context, it tends to be like important to, it's telling us to make sure that our attitude is positive first and foremost. And that when things have to change and transition, then we're not trying to hold on to them, and we're not uptight about it, and we're not angry. We're sort of going with the flow because our attitude is so positive that we know we're just being moved into this next phase or whatever. Even if you're in the midst of like a depression, I know it's definitely easier said than done, especially depending upon how deep the depression is. And I do not take things like this lightly. I'm not making light of it or whatever. But even in those cases, it remains true. This too shall pass. Not even deep depression is permanent, even though at the time that you're going through it, it may feel so. So if you can remind yourself of that, or maybe somebody around you, again, is able to show you an abundance of love and support that helps you to realize that this week, maybe. Don't fight change. Allow yourself to feel what you feel, but don't like wallow, especially not for long. If you feel yourself falling into it in self-pity or pain or sorrow. If you need help pulling yourself away from these things, from any, again, pain, suffering whatever it is you're going through, don't be too proud to reach out and to accept help and support from people who care about you. You know, we're not, or at least I don't believe that we're sent to this world to just suffer endlessly. Like, what would be the point if we're just incarnated to just live wherever we live, wherever part of the world you're in, and just struggle and, you know, for 70, 80 years, whatever, human lifespan, 90 years, 100 years, and then die? Like, what is the point of that? So I don't believe that any creator, even if it was just a boom and not an entity, not a spirit, not anything, just an accident, which I don't believe, but even if I believe that, everything has to have a purpose. What would be the purpose of people just suffering and then dying? I don't see one, and I don't believe that's what we're meant to experience. You know, even if sometimes it seems like we have nothing, you know, but that beating heart, you know, but that life, our bodies, that's all we have. And even then, there are still always steps that we can take. We hear, you know, positive stories. Like, I hear them fairly often. Maybe I look for them, I don't know, or they're drawn to me because that's the kind of attitude I put out myself too. But positive stories, happy endings to people, you know, stories somebody was homeless and, you know, now they're a business owner. You know, a child grew up in foster care and now they own a facility where they help other kids, or, you know, all this kind of stuff. Because again, nothing is permanent. They don't stay in that space of pain forever. So this is about taking, you know, steps and accepting help from others and helping others to take their steps, you know, toward just better, more positive energy, and love, and surrounding yourself with an abundance of love and positivity. And just realizing that we have more to offer in this world than we may sometimes realize. And as they say, I don't know, you know, who needed to hear that, or if anybody, but if someone did, I hope that it's received. And know that I said it with love. Okay, it's received with love. So now we're going to use the energy cards. I'm going to push this back because it finally occurred to me not long ago that you guys can't see me actually pulling the cards. And that is something that I like for you to be able to see. All right. So this one will be joining the Three of Cups in reverse in the placement of the card that represents the collective energy most directly this week. And it is the first chakra, Archangel Michael. So that's the root chakra, the base chakra, in reverse, unfortunately. But then again, the Three of Cups is in reverse too. So they match. And this is also a 3, well, it starts with a 3 at least, then a 5. 5s are about change, so it can be like about a need to change this energy, maybe to upright. But we'll talk about it more in a second. The 9 of Pentacles will be joined by the Garden and the Gate in reverse, and another 3. It's card number 30. Judgment and work and finance. The Thinking Woman. And this woman is very much like a bookkeeper, the way that I've always read her energy. So like finances and things like that. Could be somebody that actually helps you to, like I said, to increase it, and or that's working with you on a contract or whatever, but we'll talk about that more in a second too. Love and relationship. Oh, I put it away from you again. Man holding a coin. So again, maybe like we saw the Knight of Pentacles earlier, right after, what was that, the King of Cups and stuff. I said it might, this love relationship, no, after the Two of Wands. And I said the twin flame relationship may involve an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. That this could be another indication of that perhaps. Man holding a coin. He too is in reverse. The Emperor. Action. Card number 17. Action. And lastly, Death. All tied up. With, again, overall energy of appreciation, followed by contract. So to me, it's very much, they're all sixes. We had the Six of Pentacles as our overall energy here. Then we have card number 15, which equals 6, appreciation, followed by card number 6, contract, as our overall energy here. So starting again with the card that most directly represents us, the first chakra, which again is the root chakra, the base chakra. It's all about security, stability, right? From the base of our spine up to, the top of our head, well, up to our head, where once you get to the head, that moves into the crown chakra, of course. But, from the crown chakra down to the base of our spine would be the root chakra, and that gives us stability, right? Our posture and security, secures the body, makes it safe for you to walk around and stuff like that. Just, you can think about it that way. So when this card's in reverse, it can mean that that chakra is blocked, for one thing. So you may want to look into that if you feel that may be the case for you, and to how to unblock it. But also that we're facing some sort of challenges in something. So, and I don't think these challenges are dire, because our Three of Cups is also in reverse. But it's not, it's still the Three of Cups. So I don't think these challenges are like something dire and heinous that you can't deal with. But maybe because of the blocked chakra, there are fears about your safety, your security. Maybe, again, you need help. Maybe you need money, so it's financial security. Maybe you need emotional support. It's emotional security, whatever it is. Just like we've been talking about. So the right card landed here. You know what I mean? Again, even something like depression or whatever, and maybe that's why we need support of somebody else that is surrounding us. Issues of instability, can really make us anxious. That may be from where the two Nines of Swords came from. I should have used that deck first, actually, before these. Yeah, but it can make us anxious and restless, and like, I got to do something. I got to help myself. I got to save myself. But like, when you don't know what you should do, then of course it's associated with fear. Those who would be so inclined to do so, Archangel Michael is on the card. If you believe in working with angels and stuff like that, call upon him for his assistance and visualize like his light, supporting you. That's what the card recommends. Meditate on improving whatever situation it is you would like to improve. And again, you can look into unblocking the root chakra, and they may have some suggestions that are helpful there too. The next card is, again, the top, a very positive card, the Nine of Pentacles, and it too is positive, even though it's in reverse. So it's kind of like what I was just talking about. Like, don't let people make you say, make you believe that, oh, damn, the card's in reverse, I'm doomed. No. This card actually indicates that you made the positive choice to pursue maybe something spiritual, maybe a spiritually based business. Spiritually based basement. I don't know what that would be. Spiritually based business, or relationship, or something, or just increasing your own general spirituality and faith, and just feeling more positive about life, and again, accepting help from others when you need it, giving help to others when you're able. And it's possible that you were like really obsessed again with, just really thinking or kind of consumed with worldly issues, like we saw here, fears, anxiety, all these things. And now you are sort of what I was talking about with death, deciding to be more positive and to take some sort of action toward, bettering these things just by having the right thoughts. A lot of people, they think that, they basically can't live without like a bunch of money and all these things. But, that isn't true. And sometimes we're obsessing over the material, which can be another meaning of the number 6, by the way. So when you see 666, it's in numerology, it's about needing to change your thoughts and things away from this like heavy focus on money and stuff, which can come from when we're concerned for our security, right? How can I help myself be more secure? I can fix this situation that I'm in with money. And so we become like really consumed about it, versus remembering that from a spiritual perspective, if we are more positive and we meditate and we make a focused intention, we can use the law of attraction to manifest whatever it is we need to take care of whatever challenge it is we're having. So this is a positive, card, again, about having decided to go that route instead of, wallowing in self-pity. The thinking woman in the placement of work and finance. So this is somebody who's ready to help us, to lead us to, a higher understanding, better understanding, so maybe better understanding of our finances, maybe helping us to make a more sound investments. And that may be how we come into increased abundance, or again, how to improve our efficiency at our jobs, how to be more efficient about finding a job if we don't have one. And may not be an actual woman in your life that does it, but this is the energy that is helping this to happen. This woman, could be representative of Venus, maybe. And that's from where the motivation is coming. Venus rules love and money. So we can look at it that way. Very positive. And again, a perfect match for the card that we have behind it. So for a love and relationship, we talked about how Temperance was really about a need usually to look inside and figure out what's going on with us, and if we're prepared, if we've done the work in order to have a healthy relationship with another person. And the man holding a coin is like representative of this energy, and maybe you, maybe us, maybe your love interest, or actual mate, or depending upon your your status, relationship status. It's time to open up though, and know that you can handle deep emotions, so we can communicate and we can talk. Although the card can also be representative of somebody, and maybe an actual man, who is easily angered, or maybe he rushes to judgment. He's quick to criticize. It's just easy to set him off. And so maybe that's why we've been having a feeling of fear ourselves about communicating. We've been afraid to, because anything can set it off. It's probably about his fear, and again, a projection potentially onto you. Like the reason he snaps like this is because of his own self-doubt and insecurities and all that, although he would never admit it, of course. It can be an easy situation where you just need to set boundaries if you're dealing with a person like this, or then maybe you need to decide not to at all get involved with this person any further emotionally, because you just don't need that kind of drama in your life, and then you move on. It's up to you. Those are some possible meanings. It can also mean that, again, we need to look within ourselves and check for different things that are maybe problematic, again, like guilt and the inability to forgive and all these things, and making sure that we're not holding on to negative emotions from the past. And if we do find that we are, working on changing them. So again, this card fits with the previous card that we had. Action in reverse is about a possible disconnect between your determination to achieve something and your follow through. So it's a lack of discipline. We talked about how the Emperor in this placement is about your need to exert some discipline and authority over your own health. So where there's been inaction like this, it's been in reverse. This week is definitely going to be, and I'd say the whole time while the sun is in Scorpio, even if we don't get this, and while Mars is in Scorpio, even if we don't get this card in this placement every week thereafter, the whole time it's going to be about a need to, again, be mindful of our own health and take authority and responsibility or over it and for it. And for some of us, we're going to achieve that just by continuing doing what we're already doing. Some of us are already behaving that way. And, for others, maybe we just need some minor adjustments. I mean, it's nothing to necessarily get, all tied up about, moving on as I segue into spiritual health, but it's something to be conscious of. And so, yeah, last but not least, all tied up, joining death in reverse. And this card, has this woman, and she is all tied up. There's rope around her arms and everything. And this card is, is about a situation in our life where it just seems to be stuck, and it could be because of some sort of drama or something, or maybe our refusal to allow for change, because death in reverse is about a need for change and transition and like in a very organic way, just allowing it to happen and moving into a new energy. So we could be who has tied us up. Our inability to move is why we're stuck. Our own refusal to move, rather, is why we're stuck. So there's something that we can do about that. We can fix that. For some people, there could be something that's, some sort of technicality, a situation, again, that is blocking your way from what it is you would like to achieve. Like perhaps you're waiting for somebody else to take some sort of action in order for you to be able to move on. But usually in the case of spirituality, this is up to you. We can make ourselves feel, or we can be made to feel like it's up to other people when they tell us what we should be practicing and how we should feel and how we should think and what our ideology should be, what our belief system should be, and people can get very judgmental about stuff like that. But even in those situations, it's for us to realize that, this is something that is up to us, and, we have the ability to change it. We're not really stuck. So that is what some of us may experience this week, the need to sort of take charge, again, of our own health, including our spiritual health. And so lastly, we'll just see if these other cards have any final messages to add to that, beginning again with the first placement. We have the Page of Pentacles, who is scholarly, dependable, patient, and successful. Good news about financial matters, wanting to do something more challenging, maybe even a new area of study. So again, that good news, that could be coming from somebody else that is supporting us, or coming, in response to our feelings of being worried and, about the future, feeling insecure. Like, don't worry, if you've been having those kind of problems this week, that should change. Also, there could be a situation in our life involving an actual earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, who is particularly significant to us. Surrounding energy is being joined by the Knight of Pentacles. He is loyal, dedicated, honorable, and kind. It's time to buckle down and get things done. Honor your commitments. You have a guardian angel. So this can definitely be about us helping others, others helping us, people helping each other. And again, the flow of prosperity moving as it should. Also possibly involves a direct earth sign or somebody earth sign like. Moving on to work and finance. We have the Knight of Wands. He is passionate, adventurous, self-assured, and restless. Restless, that's one of the words I started out using with those Nines of Pentacles. A sudden event that needs immediate attention. Time is of the essence. Think things through carefully. And it may be a woman specifically, or again, that energy of maybe like a Venus or something that helps us to pay attention or to do what we need to do on our part with regard to that situation. Also, wands, often about work, career, and movement therein. So perfect card again. Love and relationship. The Three of Cups. A celebration, a wedding, graduation, or a birth announcement, and the need to have more fun. So this is telling you to get out there, be social, you know, meet new people. If you're single, if you're maybe even go to an event. If you're invited to an event, you can meet somebody there. There's a good chance of that. If you were already coupled, maybe you're celebrating something, or it's a happy and positive time for you. This can also be about, again, a positive reunion with someone or something. Physical health. Two of Pentacles. Too much work, right? Too much going on at once. There's a need to make a decision. Consider a more playful approach. So that could be what you need to do in order to, you know, work on your health. Maybe there's too much work. There's too much going on in general. There's too much on your plate, and you need to scale something back. You know, make, again, a minor adjustment in your life with regard to your health. And last but not least, spiritual health. And we got more Scorpio energy. Again, death represents the sign of Scorpio most directly. So does the Queen of Cups. She is tenderhearted, empathetic, patient, and loving. Relationships develop to a new level. Trust your intuition, care for yourself and others. Queen of Cups is potentially a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, or someone likened to those traits or attributes, but in typical tarot practice, or traditional tarot practice, a Scorpio first and foremost. So very intuitive, very spiritual, totally makes sense in this placement in terms of how we should be using and directing our energies this week. Hope you guys have enjoyed this reading. Please give it a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, comment. I do appreciate it. And if you're interested in finding out what else is going on this week, give me 1 second. Picking up my laptop. Signing on as quickly as I can. Uh-oh, wrong password, it said. Wait a minute. There we go. I was too quick. On the Christian calendar, we have one event. On the 28th of October, we will celebrate, or Christians will celebrate, or those interested in doing so, will celebrate the feast of Saints Simon and Jude, the apostles. So for a little bit more on that, I went to www.franciscanmedia.org. Jude is so named by Luke in Acts. Matthew and Mark call him Thaddeus. He's not mentioned elsewhere in the Gospels, except, of course, where all the apostles are mentioned. Scholars hold that he's not the author of the letter of Jude. Actually, Jude had the same name as Judas Iscariot. Evidently, because of the disgrace of that name, it was shortened to Jude in English. Simon is mentioned in all 4 lists of the apostles. On 2 of them, he's called the Zealot. The Zealots were a Jewish sect that represented an extremism of Jewish nationalism. For them, the messianic promise of the Old Testament meant that the Jews were to be a free and independent nation. God alone was their king, and any payment of taxes to Romans, the very domination of the Romans, was a blasphemy against God. No doubt, some of the Zealots were the spiritual heirs of the Maccabees, carrying on their ideals or religion and independence. But many were counterparts of modern terrorists. They raided and killed, attacking both foreigners and collaborating Jews. They were chiefly responsible for the rebellion against Rome, which ended in the destruction of Jerusalem in 70 AD. As in the case of all the apostles except for Peter, James, and John, we are faced with men who are really unknown, and we're struck by the fact that their holiness is simply taken to be a gift of Christ. He chose some unlikely people, a former zealot, a former crooked tax collector, an impetuous fisherman, 2 sons of thunder, and a man named Judas Iscariot. It is a reminder that we cannot receive too often. Holiness does not depend on human merit, culture, personality, effort, or achievement. It is entirely God's creation and gift. God needs no zealots to bring about the kingdom by force. Jude, like all the saints, is the saint of the impossible. Only God can create his divine life in human beings, and God wills to do so for all of us. Saint Jude alone, is the patron saint of desperate situations. And I think that works with our cards this week too, because again, if somebody's feeling desperate, depressed, insecure, and they seek support this week. Moving on, there's nothing on the Muslim calendar or the Hebrew calendar. So we're headed to the planetary or celestial calendar. And the first item is October 28th. So the same day as the feast day of Saints Jude and Simon. At 4:05 p.m., we will experience the last quarter moon, 5 degrees Leo. And then on October 30th, the last day for which this reading is, at 10:21 a.m., Mars enters Scorpio, 0 degrees Scorpio. So for more about that, I went to www.tarot.com. Mars in Scorpio, intuitive, persistent, and driven. Mars feels very at home in Scorpio because in the traditional astrology, Mars was the ruler of Scorpio. Told you. It shares an affinity with this sign, giving them the potential to work very well together. Scorpio is about getting to the bottom of things so they can be completely transformed, while action planet Mars is great at stimulating and provoking change. Tenacity is common with motivated Mars in this fixed sign, and there's a greater ability to persevere and work through difficult challenges during this transit. In fact, it's been said that Mars in Scorpio doesn't like doing things the easy way. Resistance is just another obstacle to test Mars's power here. Mars in Scorpio gives us the power to unleash our drive and ambition. In this sign, Mars isn't motivated to compromise or even consider what anyone else has to say. Mars in Scorpio gives us the gift of the ultimate cosmic backbone, causing us to feel totally in charge of our actions. Nobody can control us during this time, and if they try, well, watch out. Our drive to change something in our lives through sheer willpower will be through the roof during this period of time. Mars in Scorpio is never afraid to explore the darker, more vulnerable side of life. In fact, this is where Mars in Scorpio thrives. That's why this transit may prompt us to do some psychological self-examination, giving us insight that sets the stage for a major transformation, just like death intends for us to do. The downside to fiery Mars' time in watery Scorpio is that we may express ourselves with unrelenting aggressiveness or anger, the guy. So maybe particularly in our relationships. This can be either outright or under the surface and could prolong conflicts and erode relationships. All right. The trick to this transit is being selective about which walls we want to tear down. We can use this energy constructively by taking on projects that help us to redirect our intensity and passion more positively. Mars in Scorpio can feel like we've entered a spiritual boot camp because it helps us to develop our personal power, as long as we choose to rise above the shadows. Power struggles, revenge, bitterness, and an inability to forgive. I just said that, inability to forgive. We have an opportunity to master these parts of ourselves with courage, discipline, and willpower right now. Wow, that's awesome. It goes on to talk about what it means if you were born with Mars and Scorpio. If you want to read about that yourself, again, I got it from www.tarot.com. I hope you guys have enjoyed the reading. Please do like, share, subscribe, and comment. I do appreciate it. I'll be back with love. Namaste.